Hello and welcome back to Mr. Lamb's Science Corner. Today we're going to talk about Galileo. And Galileo is known for any number of things, one of which is probably not correct, but they thought that he took two balls of different weights and dropped them off the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and when they both hit the ground at the same time, he showed that Aristotle was wrong in saying that heavy objects fall faster than light objects. And to understand this, you need to go back a little bit and understand about Aristotle. The ancient Greeks did not like to do experimentation. Quite frankly, experimentation was work, and work was done by slaves. And a real person like Aristotle, so-called, would not do that. So and it was always in the mind. Pure things such like this, and the real world was just, according to some, just a shadow of this ideal world that's off somewhere else. So all the arguments were done through intellect, and quite frankly, they think that the story went around about Galileo, but while he did believe in experimentation, he never depended on it. He wanted to show through Aristotelian methods, i.e. through logic, that heavy objects fall at the same rate as light objects. And that's why people paid attention to him. It wasn't that he actually did something, but it was through the explanation. And so from the time of Aristotle, about 300 BC, roughly, to Galileo's time in the 1600s, so almost 2,000 years, people just didn't take two different objects and drop them and say, like, oh yeah, they fell at the same rate. They didn't do that. And it kind of boggles my imagination, and maybe yours, that they had no tradition of experimentation whatsoever. So, to show you, and I always like to do this for my chemistry students, take a catalog, good old Flynn here, and a piece of paper, and I always started off by showing that the piece of paper fell a lot slower than the catalog, which is what we would expect. And I said, well, and then of course you have the air resistance argument and all like this, and I'd say, well, now look at this. I'm going to take the piece of paper, I'm going to make it fall at the same rate as a catalog, and I did it by putting it underneath the catalog, and went like this, and it said, see, it fell at the same rate, and they all will go, because they said the catalog pushed the piece of paper down. And I said, okay. And your students will probably do the exact same thing if you do it that way. So I put it on top, show that it's not sticky or anything like that, and take it, and it still fell at the same rate. It just, in the catalog, pushed the air away, and so the piece of paper could fall. There's nothing holding the piece of paper to the catalog. So, see, there it is. I mean, it moves very easily, and if it fell at a different rate, it would have separated. And it didn't. Therefore, objects fall at the same rate if you negate the effects of air resistance. And that's what we have for today. Thank you very much. Goodbye.